What's up, everybody? Welcome to the FD Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon. Alongside me always is Chris. We have a special guest with us today.
Very special.
Very, very special.
Oh, shucks.
Our good buddy, Andrew.
How's it going, everybody?
And we finally got our movie podcast launched, so we still don't really know what we want to call it yet. I think we want to call it something different than the FD Podcast. We already got FD Podcast. We want to do something a little different with that, but
I haven't thought of anything funny yet.
No, I mean, it doesn't have to be funny.
I don't know if it needs to be funny or not.
No, it doesn't have to be funny.
Maybe we should take suggestions.
We can take suggestions. We can always do that. Anybody that happens to listen to this, we can always take suggestions.
If you got anything good, we will steal it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I love plagiarism.
I will trademark everything.
Yeah. Trademark everything. Yeah. Andrew, how you doing, bud?
Doing good.
Good.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, we're glad you're on. Big movie buff. We're all big movie buffs. I mean, I don't own a store or anything, so yeah, I don't know. I've watched a couple movies.
Yeah, a few here and there.
Just a few in there.
Not a lot.
No.
Not a lot.
Well, I don't get a lot of time, actually.
No.
I don't get as much time as I would like to watch movies.
No.
Even owning a video store, I just can't. I don't know. I try
It's
to in the
hard.
weekends. It is. I get a couple in during the week, and maybe a couple in on the weekend. Maybe we're always doing stuff like this on the weekend. So
Yeah.
It's the problem. Too many movies, too
Yeah.
little time.
exactly.
Well, and there's so many good old ones that I find it hard to watch the new ones.
Yeah.
And then I'm behind, then I got to catch up.
Or the want to see the new ones.
Yeah.
Or the one.
And there are some new ones that I want to see, but there's not a lot. I mean, you guys watched It yet? The new one?
Have not seen it yet.
Very good. I did get to go watch that. Watched it twice.
I don't like it.
You don't like It?
I don't like it.
Here we go.
So
I don't like. I didn't like the book, but a lot of other people did, and so then they were like, "Oh, well, you have to watch the movie. We have to watch it." Like, okay, so I watched. They were like, "Oh, a few things changed." The movie's awesome. Watched the movie, and I hated it. I hate clowns to begin with. I hated the premise.
that's probably the most of it.
Which is kind of funny because he lives down a road where there's a huge haunted house with
where-
clowns.
Yeah. Carnival of Freaks is right down the road for.
Well, I mean, they know not to bother me. They know not to jump out in the road.
They can pay us for the plug.
Yeah, because you will.
Yeah.
You will run them over.
Yeah.
You will run them over.
Oh yeah,
There will be no more haunted house if.
I don't like the premise though. I don't like the story behind it. Now, if it's true, what I've heard that it ties in with the Dark Tower universe, I could get behind it more.
Mm-mm.
But that's not confirmed.
There's
other. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It could just be Easter eggs for all anybody knows.
somebody at work the other day was trying to tell me there was some kind of tie-in with Dreamcatchers and It.
There's supposed to be. There's a
a
this
Pennywise or
conspiracy theory that all of Stephen King's works can be connected in the same universe.
Okay.
And
Is that why everything's in Maine?
Right. Well,
Yeah.
that's just because he likes
He's from Maine.
And he if you've noticed, a lot of Stephen King's books are about authors. Being the hero.
Main characters
Yeah.
are authors. Yeah.
So I mean, most of his stuff is set in the same place.
Yeah.
But the conspiracy theory is that the Dark Tower series links everything.
And that is not the case, that it links everything.
No. And so that's why I can't really get behind it. So
Yeah.
I don't know if he decided that some should be linked and some shouldn't. I don't know. That'd be up to him. That's all. That's his prerogative. And
I guess.
and a lot of the stuff that is supposed to be linked, he was pretty fucking high on stuff then, so I don't you know what I mean?
He had some of the weirdest stuff when he was messed up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which he was already weird to begin with.
Well,
so.
and I think
Sadly, some of the best stuff, too.
Yeah.
Now, like some of his worst works was when he got hit by that van or car. I think it was a van though, and it really messed him up for a while.
Sometime in 1999.
Yeah. And after that, he started writing all kinds of crap. I mean, he wrote a lot of good too. But mostly crap.
He did write a lot of crap. I'll give you that.
Yeah, he did.
But I mean, he's done a good enough job on almost everything that he's a legend.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, you can
There's
consider
no
it.
doubt.
You can
There's
call
no
him a
doubt.
legend. There's always a lot of bad with good, though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, with everybody.
Yeah, when you're putting out that much
Oh, yeah.
product.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing about Stephen King, if he wouldn't write and release a book every year, then we might actually have better stories. Like they'd be more thought out if they weren't every single year. It seems like every year.
Well, you look at like his prime in the 80s, he's putting out 3 books a year.
Oh, yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
You're going to get some turds.
Just turn them out, and you're gonna have some. But yeah, most of them are gonna be turds. Probably if you're pumping out that many. Bag of Bones, the adaptation for the TV series or whatever they did
Yeah.
with the
Or was it
miniseries.
Netflix or was it?
It was
TV?
some kind of Netflix.
I think it was TV.
It was some kind of TV show. Yeah, I don't know. But
There-
that one really
he's-
turned out bad. And I was hopeful because I like Pierce Brosnan, and I was hoping that was going to be better than it was.
Yeah. Well, he's doing some new stuff with Netflix that I got some pretty high hopes for.
Gerald's Game.
Gerald's Game. Yes, the trailer for it looks really good.
That I haven't seen the trailer yet, but the book has one of the freakiest scenes I've ever read. I had chills. You know, people say Stephen King's scary, whatever. That's the only time I've actually had chill bumps up my arms
Yeah,
reading
being scared.
that scene from Gerald's Game. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes.
I don't know. Netflix usually gives people the creative, I guess, freedom to make whatever they want, it seems like. So hopefully this one is really good. And then he's got another new, he did Mr. Mercedes too.
Yeah.
I haven't watched any of it yet. It looks really good. I don't know if it's TV or if it's Netflix. A lot of people are considering them the same thing, but I don't think I would.
I wouldn't.
But
I don't know.
it looks really good too.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that.
I mean,
and he's got a new movie, 1922, coming out too.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
You said something about the trailer. I need to watch that.
It looks good. It looks really good.
He's got so many that we pretty much decided to do an entire podcast on him because he's got so much work, and the crazy thing is the list is so long that you forget.
Yeah.
That it's hard to just you name off a bunch of them and then you forget some of the biggest ones.
Yeah.
I mean, you can easily forget some of the bigger ones because
and everybody associates him with scary stuff. And so you kind of forget that he done so much stuff that wasn't, or wasn't meant to be. I wouldn't consider most of his stuff scary, but like The Green Mile, Shawshank Redemption, Stand By Me.
Stand By Me, yeah.
Those are all amazing movies, and they're not meant to be scary.
I have to say something about Stand By Me because I don't think it's a bad movie by any stretch.
Oh, no.
I think it's a good movie, and I understand it's a classic that a lot of people love, but I watched it a couple times, and I'm like I said, it's not bad, but I don't know, like maybe some people consider that a favorite or something notable, but I don't. Like I don't either. I really don't like it.
I think they got a lot out of some child actors. And
They did a great, and that's what he's really good at is writing stories with, child leads. And I mean, that's what seems like a lot of his stuff is if it's not authors, it's a group of kids.
Most of them, I can't say most of them, a lot of them are pretty much the same thing.
In a nutshell, it seems that way.
It and Stand By Me, if you take the clown out,
it's similar.
It's pretty close.
Searching for bodies, searching for something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're pretty
well,
close.
especially in the new one. That's where I mean, the new one is really more emphasis on him finding Georgie. Because he's refusing to he's not dead. He's missing, and we don't know that. So I got to find out what's happened to all these kids, and that was what they brought a little bit different element out with the new one, and that's what I really appreciate. Plus, Pennywise was so much darker.
Yeah. Well, see, and I was talking to a guy the other day about it. Which I haven't seen the new It, but personally, I think the older Pennywise is actually a little bit scarier, just because he's not supposed to be scary for most of it.
Tim Curry, you mean?
Yes.
Like Tim Curry's?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like an old man in a clown.
He just looks like an old man in a clown suit, and then all of a sudden,
he's
you get the demon.
And this is what I love, and I love. It sounds funny. I love this about Tim Curry though, but he's such a flamboyant person.
Oh yeah, he is.
He's a theatrical. Yeah, so and I love Tim Curry. I love everything. I love everything Tim Curry's in.
Yep.
No matter how weird.
Yeah.
And like Clue is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, me too.
And
Fist bump on that.
yeah, fist bump.
Ain't nobody else gonna do it.
I know
for us.
we said that. We actually said that in our last podcast, but I'll repeat it every time. I don't care. It's one of my favorite movies, and I love Tim Curry. So what he brought to Pennywise, and I know we just completely went from Stand By Me to It, and that's what we do. But he just brought such a different thing to that. I don't know. Like Bill Skarsgård did a great job. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I love the dark direction they've gone in. I like that because it's something new, and I think that's something that kids have to have now. I think that's what people need to have now.
They do.
It's like doing something like that in 1990 now wouldn't work the same.
No.
You can keep the same plot, you can keep the same setting, but to have him act as soft as he did,
Yeah.
it was a TV series, miniseries. But
and that's I think he was actually a little bit scarier just because of the creepiness level. Skarsgård's Pennywise, just like even as just the regular clown, Pennywise, a dancing clown, he looks scary as shit from the get go.
yeah, and he is.
Yeah,
I promise you, he
just
is.
looks scary as shit.
Yeah,
but
he doesn't mess around at all.
no.
Yeah, there's no element of surprise there. So
Exactly, and
No.
That's what
It's
I
fear,
think is
straight fear.
Tim Curry's was actually a little bit creepier to me
Yeah.
because he wasn't meant.
He
it's
was he was that Sour Patch Kid thing where he was fun and playful and sweet,
Exactly.
and then all of a sudden, like that one scene that's most notable for me, and the first one was it was the very beginning. I think it was the very beginning of, or was it the beginning of the second half? I can't remember. I think it's the beginning of the first one where the girl was playing outside in the yard and the sheets. Was that the very beginning? I think it was the very first beginning of the first part.
it's been so long.
I know, but I think that's what it is. But
I think you're right.
because she was the first one that had died.
Yeah.
I think. Anyway, she was looking. She sees him through the sheets as the wind was blowing him, and they'd see him, and he would smile, and he would make these little faces, and then all of a sudden he was just mean, and then it was just, and then you heard her scream.
Yeah, and that's
That's creepy.
To me, that's scarier because
Yeah.
it's creepier.
Yeah, exactly.
Skarsgård just looks scary from the get go.
Yeah, and because he's supposed to be just a big evil
I
bastard
understand that, but I think Curry's was actually a little bit creepier.
in ways. But there was more out of it. Tim Curry really performed a lot more than Skarsgård did. Skarsgård just did your
he's
typical.
Tim Curry. He's gonna perform no matter what you put him.
He's gonna perform
You
exactly.
tell him to play a shoebox, and he's gonna.
Oh, I guarantee he'd eat it up.
He's gonna put some
It's
Nikes
something.
in him.
It's something new for him. He'll try it. I hate that he had a stroke, man. You know what's crazy? Did you know he had a stroke?
I hadn't heard.
See, I don't know anybody who knew Tim Curry had a stroke.
Yeah,
2012,
and he looked bad.
massive stroke. He's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
He can't do. I mean, he does some. I think might still do a little bit of voice work, or he did right after.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's pitiful. I watched some kind of fan com or like con or convention or something, and he had a panel, and he was being interviewed by one of his buddies. It was pretty rough to watch.
Yeah.
It was because it was the first time I'm seeing it too, so it was like, oh man, this sucks. But moving on from it, we'll move on from it. So we've talked about that enough, I think.
Oh yeah, I think so too because I don't like it.
Yeah, you don't like it. You don't like the book or anything like that. Stand By Me, and we've talked about it a little bit. I don't know what you think about Stand By Me.
I think it's a pretty good film.
Yeah.
I like River Phoenix's performance in it.
Yeah.
I like Kiefer Sutherland in it.
Yeah, Kiefer. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's another one. How can you not?
Right.
Exactly. Kiefer was just when he was young. He was just a really good, crazy guy.
Yeah, he was a good bully.
Yeah, he
You
was.
know?
That's why I loved him in Lost Boy.
I really thought they captured the friendship dynamic between the boys.
They did. They did.
But as far as that, but yeah, scary, absolutely not.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, definitely not in that. It's definitely not one of his scary. Now, I can't remember what years they came out. I know
Stand By Me was 86.
86. When was Misery? Was that
90?
90. That's what I was thinking.
See, and I don't think Misery's not scary at all either. It's
No, it's just dark.
She's
She's
dark.
scary, but it's very dark.
Yeah.
And I did enjoy that movie because it was.
Yeah.
That's one of those things you
Yeah,
just.
I don't like her.
You don't like Kathy Bates?
Kathy Bates. That's about the only movie I liked her in.
Really?
Yeah, I just
Where she's
don't care
breaking
for
your
her.
ankles with the sledgehammer. I like her. I like her.
I just don't. And I like
That movie set her up.
Oh yeah. Oh, from then on.
Yeah.
And she's actually really funny. So I mean, in some movies she's pretty funny.
Well,
Sometimes she tries a little too hard.
That's what I was just about to say. I think she tries too hard. Is the reason why I don't like her.
Yeah.
I thought she was one of the better parts in the waning days of The Office too. But
Yeah.
that's another show.
Yeah. Misery was one of those that just shows you how like
how fanboyish people are. You know, and the thing about Misery is back then that was crazy. Yeah. But today, by today's standards, there's crazier people out there than she was. It'd be terrible. Can you imagine if these people that get on the internet every day and are like, "Oh, I'll fucking kill you if you don't write this." If you kill this character off, I will come to your house and I'll kill you and your whole family. And like, she wasn't doing that.
No, she was just...
can you imagine if those people got a hold of...
She just wanted that book to be right. That's all she wanted. She wanted to be... She's going to just attack him.
Back then that was crazy. Nowadays it's like, I mean, I got a few death threats.
What's crazy is YouTubers get this now.
Yeah. We're simple people.
Yeah. We're just a simple folk. We're just a simple folk. We don't need that.
No.
We don't want any of that, guys. No. Just... Ever. I don't ever want to be that big if that's the case.
No.
Which I don't think will ever be that big,
No. I got a question. Before we move on to any other movies, I got a question for both of you. What is your favorite Stephen King movie? And I know that's a loaded question. It's probably going to be hard to answer.
I can't. It's got to be like 2 or 3.
Oh, okay. Well,
I can't. Well, even though he hated it, and we can talk about that in a little bit, The Shining.
Yeah.
I love Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah. And
even though I don't know if it's my favorite. Because Shawshank. I'll say Shawshank.
Okay.
I'll say Shawshank's probably because I was going to say Secret Window because that was based off of it.
You knew I hate
Johnny Depp. No, it's just because because like I said earlier, you forget these movies, and then Shawshank finally popped in my head, and I'm like, Shawshank's better than Secret Window.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure I'll think of something later that like, oh.
Yeah. What about you?
Mine are the ones that are the more faithful adaptations. I've been a Stephen King fan for a long time, and Pet Sematary.
Yeah.
You see, that's not one you forget about. Like,
Firestarter is almost word for word.
Yeah.
Just
is it really awesome?
Straight from the book. And I like Christine.
Yeah,
Christine.
I like.
Well, I like Christine. I like Christine a lot, but I'm a big fan of Carpenter.
Yeah.
Well. My thing with Stephen King, my rules with him are if it's a movie about an inanimate object that he wrote killing things, I'm gonna love it.
Well,
they're all pretty good.
I absolutely love Maximum Overdrive.
It's always a possessed car or something with him. If it's not an author getting some,
if it's not an author being a hero in Maine,
or a bad guy, in Colorado,
but. Maximum Overdrive is probably my favorite, and I know that sounds goofy because it's
a fun movie.
Good.
It's
not good at all. But I love Emilio Estevez.
Yeah,
love him, and I love and I won't usually say this, and Brandon can attest to this. I usually hate campy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I love the campiness in this movie.
How did they make Emilio Estevez a badass in that movie? Like,
dude,
how is that even possible?
Dude, it's so easy because he is a bad Emilio. He's so badass.
Emilio.
He was coming off the Breakfast Club. He had some of that Brat Pack.
That's I guess. That was before Mighty Ducks. Before he was an inspirational coach.
That was what, a good 5-10 years before Mighty Ducks.
Well, what year was Maximum Overdrive? Wasn't it late 80s?
80 something. Yeah.
Oh, was it 85?
Well,
mid 80s. Okay.
We got it up there somewhere.
Yeah, we do actually. I can look at it. I'm gonna tear everything down if I grab it though. So I mean, there it is, right there on the end.
1986.
86. So it was more mid 80s then. Okay. What a great movie. That's actually really hard to find.
Oh, I'd say.
Like that, I mean, and I haven't looked it up in a while, but it wasn't that long ago. Last time I checked, just trying to find a new copy.
Yeah.
Was like it for $10, like a normal movie would go, like on Amazon or something. It's not $10. It's like 20, or it's actually better than that. Sometimes you can't even find them.
Yeah.
There for a little while, it was out of print, and then they had to. I think they started again. But
because it's so good.
Yeah, because it's so good.
Such a landmark in cinema.
Yeah, it was so good. We had to get in. We had to keep pumping them copies out, guys. This is not good. People need more Emilio.
Yeah. Everybody's got to have more Emilio.
Yeah.
But I'll put one kind of asterisk there next to my first rule of Stephen King, and that is the Mangler. The Mangler is kind of that same way because it's an inanimate object that gets possessed. And,
a laundry press machine or a folding machine or something like that?
It's a press machine.
God.
That gets possessed. Well, first, at the very beginning of the Mangler, it's a possessed refrigerator.
Yeah.
And then they're moving the refrigerator, and some virgin blood gets.
I've got to see
this. You've got to see it. That's ridiculous.
A virgin is working in the clothes in the towel factory, and she cuts her hand. Blood gets on it, and then for some reason, when the virgin's blood touches the fridge, it transfers its possession into this
It was like the funniest part of the whole movie is when that old lady got her hand. She just, it was just like a weird.
She dropped something in there.
She dropped, and then she was like just easing her hand in there, and then it grabbed her, and then it just like all of a sudden it's just eating her, and they're trying to like pull her out, and like there's like 3 or 4 people trying to pull her out or something.
It's so bad that it's
it's terrible.
All of a sudden, Maximum Overdrive isn't so campy.
Exactly.
Yeah. But that's the one asterisk I would put next to my rule, because that was terrible. It was just terrible. And a lot of these you can't put on him. A lot of them you have to put on the maker. The filmmaker.
Sure.
It's like the Mangler. It was like a what? How many pages was it?
It was a short story, I believe.
Most of them are short stories. Wasn't 1408 a short story?
Yeah,
I know Secret Window was.
Yes,
Secret Window was, and that was complete. And that was actually a different title too. That was something different, and I can't remember the exact title of it now. I had it in my head earlier, but there was another guy who wrote the script and changed a bunch of stuff up. It was just like based off of it. So, but I love that movie. I know you didn't, but I do.
Speaking of short stories, I'll throw one of my favorites out there, and crucify me if you must. But I really like Children of the Corn.
Oh, I like Children.
Oh, Children of the Corn's classic.
See, that one, I watched it when I was like 5, and it scared the shit out of me. And that's like, it's pretty rare for one of his movies to really just scare the shit out of me.
And that's one that he just absolutely has been on record saying he hates.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that and The Shining, I think, are the 2 least favorites that he has.
But I like a lot about it. It's got a really good creepy atmosphere through the entire thing.
It is, yeah.
The isolation of the town kind of gets to you, and it's got Sarah Connor in it. So how can you go wrong?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Linda Hamilton.
Well, and I think we talked about it in last week when we were talking about Halloween. We were talking about the new Halloween coming out, and I said,
which I can't wait for.
I think a lot of what adds to the Halloween series is being set in the Midwest. Any scary movie that's set in the Midwest is automatically scarier. I
really think that, and we did talk about that. I really do think that, because it's there's nothing there. It's the isolation
with Children of the Corn. It's the isolation part.
Everything's darker. If you get out of town, it's darker. It's there's
nothing's lit up.
It's dark. There's no one around. If you get out of a small town area, the houses are not stacked on top of each other. I mean, they're every quarter mile, quarter mile.
My house, the house we're in right now. If something were to happen, no one would know.
No
one.
Not for a good while.
No one's coming for you.
No,
you know what I mean. You call 911, you're going to be waiting an hour and a half.
Oh yeah.
You don't have an old mean laundry press in here, do you?
yeah. A possessed. We got any possessed items?
I got a fridge.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna have to be careful getting my water out of there later.
Hopefully nobody in there's a virgin. Yeah. Cut your hand. Yeah.
What bothers me the most about that is, how can a fridge tell?
I don't know.
Like that you're a virgin.
Well, and see, the funny thing is, I remember the cop. The cop was what was his name? He was Buffalo Bill or Buffalo Bob.
Yeah.
Powers Booth.
Yes.
Powers Booth.
Yes.
He was the cop.
Oh wow.
Mangler, and he actually kind of makes fun of the story as he's talking. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'll just call him up and say, hey, I need some help with this possessed fridge. I need, what does he say? He says,
I need to know if you're a virgin or something like that.
I'll
Or,
just call down there and say, hey, I need to know who's a virgin that works there.
yeah, yeah. I need your help. Are you like, he asked that guy in the chair. So it's like, I need your help. Are you would you happen to be a virgin? Would you, or something? I don't know.
He's actually the best part.
My favorite role with him in it.
What?
Is Joyride.
Really?
I
do like
because he's the voice, the truck driver.
Yeah, he just passed away recently.
Yes,
he did. Yeah. Man, that's crazy.
Yep. And he wasn't that old.
No, he wasn't.
60 something.
He wasn't that old.
Maybe.
He wasn't 60, was he? He might have been. He might have been 60.
I don't know.
He's been around for a while.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
He's one of my favorite villains in what's the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie where they take over the hockey rink? The movie's not that great, but his performance in that.
Well, most of the movies back then.
Take over a hockey rink. Damn.
If it had Jean-Claude Van Damme, I'm sure it was terrible.
Oh, let me rephrase that for you. If it had Jean-Claude Van Damme in it, I'm sure it was amazing. If you're talking the best action movie ever in the history of mankind, you have to throw Bloodsport in there. You have to.
I thought you were going to say Street Fighter.
I would put Street Fighter second.
Okay, am I the only one that thinks that speech he made at Street Fighter was better than the Independence Day speech?
It was.
That was just amazing.
Yeah, it was.
That was amazing.
That was the best part.
Yeah.
Well, that and when he takes his army shirt off and he's got the tank top on.
Yeah,
that's the second best part of it.
Raul Julia's best role in Bison, which I liked Raul Julia.
Yeah.
I think he was awesome.
Yeah.
He was an awesome Gomez Adams.
He was an awesome Bison.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
he was.
Mm-hmm.
He was cast perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It was just
wasn't a very good movie. And then he got cancer and died. Man, he was a good actor.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Crazy.
He was really awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry to hijack my first podcast with some Van Damme stories.
Oh, no, that's fine.
No, you're good. That's what we do. We like to get off subject.
Yeah, that's what we do.
We dedicate a whole podcast to somebody, and then we end up talking about something different for a minute or three. Or
sudden death. It just came to me.
Oh, yeah. Sudden death. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man, that wasn't good.
And that's the thing. There's just so much to talk about, and you want to talk about so much. But in Stephen King, man, it's like there's so much. I know we're going to end up missing a bunch of things because there's so many.
Like, what's that game? 9 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
6 Degrees.
6 Degrees.
Yeah,
Kevin Bacon. It's like that. Anytime you're talking about somebody like Stephen King or James Cameron or someone like that has so much body of work.
Yeah. Well,
it's really hard to stay on task.
There's a lot of people who've worked in everything he's done, or people who have adapted into movies. Another one that I actually really liked that was pretty bad was The Dead Zone with Christopher Walken.
Dead Zone was pretty all right. It's
but you get Walken, who is not a great actor.
No.
In most things, but then there's things where he's pretty
steals
decent.
The show.
He was really good in this.
He was.
It came out.
It was some of his reactions, like when he would grab the hand and
I'm not that old, so you'll have to forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it came out like right around the same time Videodrome did, and so then everybody was like, "Oh yeah, this is." It really got people thinking because
the book came out in 79 or 80. I don't know how much longer the movie followed because I haven't actually seen the movie. Shame to say.
I'm pretty sure it was like the same year or the year after Videodrome, somewhere around then. I know it really got people talking.
I like Videodrome just for the sheer weirdness.
Oh yeah. That's about the only good thing you can say about it. But it is it was probably the weirdest movie up to that point. There probably wasn't anything weirder, really. I can't think of anything.
That's fair.
Really, other than Kubrick's stuff was always super weird. But man, this is just like
maybe some Hitchcock stuff.
Oh yeah, some Hitchcock stuff. But man, Videodrome really took the fucking ball and ran with it.
Yeah,
with the weirdo ball. But no, I did like Dead Zone. I really like Creepshow. And there's not a whole lot of people that talk about it, but that was, I think, the most acting that Stephen King had ever done was when he was in Creepshow. And I'm pretty sure that was the most acting he's done that I can think of. And I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm pretty sure Mastodon-based Curl of the Burls video on his role of Creepshow. I mean, they had to have, because it's almost.
If not, it's a blatant homage.
Yeah, without the girls showing their breasts to him, it's the same thing. I don't think he snorted the tree, but everything else really lines up perfect with it.
Yeah.
What was your favorite cameo of Stephen King? Speaking of,
Come back to me on that one.
all right, what do you got?
I'd have to say the Maximum Overdrive is one of my favorites.
That's absolutely my favorite.
Yeah,
absolutely my favorite.
This machines call me an asshole.
That's absolutely my favorite.
Yeah,
and Maximum Overdrive has my favorite like creepy scene from movies, because especially Stephen King movies, you've always got to have that scene that someone is going through the town and they see that stuff's weird, or they're coming into the house and they see stuff's weird, or they wake up and on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
But in Maximum Overdrive, when the kid is riding down the street and he sees like the dog with the RC car in its mouth and it's all bloody, and he sees all the people dead in the street,
and everything's just empty, and that was pretty creepy.
That's my favorite of those scenes.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
I
and I watched that probably a little too young too, I think. So,
I know.
So it was definitely it depends on what age you are, how much it affects you. It does.
Yeah, I remember seeing. I want to say he did the screenplay for Cat's Eye too, and I remember.
Oh, probably.
I'm showing my age here, but I remember going to the drive-thru when they had double features and seeing that with my parents, and I was like 5 or something, and just being creeped out, by the little thing climbing up the bed.
Yeah.
And so it does. It had lots.
It's everything. A lot of its age and how you.
That right there is the creepiest thing to me. That's the scariest thing in scary movies is when they show stuff climbing up the bed, like
something easing
stuff.
Up the bed. Just
my god, dude.
Just inching, inching.
Oh my god, Puppet Master.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the scariest movie to me, for real.
Really?
Yeah, for real. Like, I had legitimate nightmares.
Dude, I tell you what, I was way too young when I watched that too. I had that problem. I've obviously, looking back now, I had a problem.
I'm gonna call your mom and dad.
I snuck that shit in. I was sneaking stuff. Like you get HBO or something, you turn that on. I was watching Tales from the Crypt way too young.
Yeah, me too.
It's way too young for that. And it wasn't always scary, but it was just content you shouldn't be watching when you're a kid.
And that's most Stephen King stuff.
I mean, I remember going. I know I had to have watched Jaws before I was 6 years old, which is way too early, because I remember being terrified of the water when we went to Florida.
I still am.
Yeah, that's
for real.
Like going to Florida, I didn't want to get in the. I was fascinated by sharks. I love sharks, and at the same time, I was terrified.
I hate taking a bath.
This man still does not take baths. He takes showers. Like he's clean. He's clean. He's clean. I promise, he's clean.
Well, I mean, showers.
He showers.
Sharks ain't gonna attack you in the shower.
No, that's a movie. That's a new movie. We got to make it.
Killer Frost. I'm pretty sure that's the name. Or no, Jack Frost.
Jack Frost.
Jack Frost. He kills a girl in the shower.
Oh,
he melts himself, comes through the drain, and then he solidifies himself.
I don't remember that part.
That'd be a great superpower.
Oh, dude.
That would be. That's a little bit wicked.
Oh yeah.
No one's safe. He doesn't even melt in the house. In this hot shower, he doesn't melt.
No, I don't remember how they killed him.
Taking a gamble there. Somebody comes by with a towel. It's all over.
Yeah. Well, they. I'm pretty sure they killed him with a flamethrower. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, yet again, we got
way off Stephen King.
Not way off. Not way off.
See, Andrew, when you join our podcast or when you do anything with us, period, we're never going to stick to source material.
I don't like doing things right.
I don't like doing things by the book.
Yeah, we're rebels. That's what it really is.
Yeah,
that's what
rebels.
It really boils down to. We're rebels.
We're rebels. Yeah, we mean to do it.
Yeah, I'm a rebel without a cause. I'm going platinum.
Yeah. Back to Stephen King.
If you understand that reference.
Yeah, no one will understand that reference. We'll have to get our friends to watch this.
Yeah, just so we can.
Hey,
somebody in a single wide trailer knows. I guarantee. I guarantee it. If you drive an '80s model Camaro, you've heard that song.
Oh
I promise you.
Well, we've only got like 80 more Stephen King movies to cover. Like I said, we're not going to get to all of them, but like
the good ones, I would rather talk about the bad ones.
The Langoliers.
The Langoliers, yes.
Langoliers is one that I absolutely loved as a kid, and I tried to watch again as an adult, and oh my God, what was I like? I don't understand what was going through my head when I thought it was.
I think
good.
I have a paper full of stuff too that I wrote down because I knew I was going to get.
Oh yeah, I got a few notes here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The Shining. I say that
he shays,
Shining,
everybody. He shays.
I shay.
Not in the bath.
Not in the bath. He doesn't shay.
I say that The Shining is probably the best Stephen King movie, and what I think is funny about that is that he hates it because Kubrick screwed with him all the time, just changed all kinds of stuff. And I was watching something a while back, and like they were saying that Kubrick would call King just to like,
just
get
to
at
fuck
him,
with
just
him.
be like, hey, I changed this. And then just hang up. Like, how awesome is that?
No wonder why Stephen King's so butthurt about that whole movie.
Oh, he's super butthurt about
I know.
it. Really?
Well,
he hates it.
But this TV series one that they made, the version of The Shining? Did you ever watch that?
I haven't seen it.
I have not actually found it to watch it. Now,
Because are you looking for The Shining? Because they didn't call it The Shining.
Oh, they didn't.
No, they called it American Gothic.
What?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, I know that because my grandma had the whole series on tape.
Okay.
Yeah.
On tape.
Yep.
On tape.
And they had the red rum
Showing it.
We're all showing it.
Yeah. They had the red rum and everything on there. It was super.
It was the same. It just was called.
It was scarier, 10 times scarier.
Yeah.
And I think The Shining is scary because it screws with you.
It's just a psychological thriller. I mean,
not only that, and the twins aren't even the scariest part. To me, the old lady's the scariest part.
the old lady was pretty good. The one coming out of the
old
shower
lady,
or whatever.
Yeah. The old lady, and there's another part where there's this guy sitting in a room, and there's another guy in a dog costume.
Like
dude,
he looks over.
Screw that. Screw the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, the guy in the dog costume looks out at Shelley Duvall's character.
And he's got teeth.
And then the other guy
dog
leans out and looks in the hallway too.
He's got dog teeth.
Hopefully none of our listeners are into that.
It's kinky.
One of my favorite, you're talking psychological, one of my favorite scenes from the book that didn't make the movie, and it's kind of a shame, is where they're outside in the hedge maze and the hedge animals start chasing Danny Torrance around.
But back then they couldn't have done that.
Right.
I mean, they could have, but it wouldn't have looked good.
Yeah.
Talking late
see,
70s.
and see, I can't remember. Did you read the book too?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm out on the book thing. So you guys you've got that over me. I've watched most of the movies. But.
It's a lot different, but it gets the point across.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean that's the thing. There's usually something better in the books, and a lot of times it's time they can't do things.
Yeah, but point being, it could have been even more scary.
Was there any other
I
bigger
was terrified reading
differences in that you wish would have made it, or just was completely different that would have changed the whole story? Was the ending the same or similar?
It was similar, I think. I was about 11 when I read it.
Okay. Well, why did you read The Shining when you were 11?
Dude, because it's The Shining. I watched it when I was like 7.
I probably watched it much.
6,
I watched
7,
that much later. See, I was watching slasher films by then and other stuff I shouldn't have been watching. But
I didn't really watch the slashers.
I wouldn't have seen. That's the thing. I would have been terrified of things that like the gore, and I would have been terrified of the things I shouldn't have been watching when I was a kid and shouldn't have been seeing. But like The Shining, I wouldn't have probably, if I watched it way too early, I wouldn't have understood it. Because it took me 2 or 3 times before I even understood like the ending, and I still don't really understand. I just like okay.
Yeah,
I don't watch it enough or examine.
Well, and I definitely can see that because it as an adult it hit me a lot harder watching, seeing stuff again.
Well, there's definitely different points
little,
you
when I was little, the twins were the scariest part.
Right.
So.
Well, him busting down the door with an axe, and it's the things you see.
Yeah,
it's the things that you see but the things that you understand more as an adult is what really like just see the thing about that film. And Kubrick did a great job, really, because it started off so simple and so nice. Yeah, I mean, it really did. Yeah. It was easy. It was easy going. I mean, they were kind of warning of what it could, what happened. The hotel with all this isolation, you get that cabin fever thing. and then by the end of it, you realize how real it was, but it was such a slow, and that's how Kubrick's films are. They're just slow and boring in times, but it was such a slow thing, but it never ended. It always stayed on point, and it just kept. And once it started like turning, it kept turning, and it just got worse and worse and worse, and it was never coming back. Like it wasn't coming back around.
I would say if anybody listening likes The Shining, which I mean, who doesn't? But if anybody likes The Shining, I would recommend watching Room 237, I think is the name of it. It's a documentary about Kubrick making it. I mean, they go a lot into how he, it might have been a conspiracy theory about how he faked the moon landing for the government. But other than that, the behind the scenes stuff is really, really good.
Okay.
One of my other favorite things about that movie is some of the secondary characters, like Scatman Carruthers that has the shine.
Yes.
Jazz from Transformers.
Yes.
And the Joe Turkel, I believe is his name, the bartender. Some of the menacing looks that he gets.
Well, the dialogue between him and Jack
that scares me.
And they said it took him like 6 weeks to rehearse that.
Really?
That the dialogue at the bar towards the end.
Really?
It wasn't at the party. It was the one I think it was right before that or right after that where they were alone. Yeah. It was right before that when they were alone. But yeah, that was such an interesting dialogue. And Jack and how I don't know, it was just like you knew at that point this was not good.
Yeah.
And then that scene in the bathroom where he was cleaning, the butler was cleaning him off or whatever, and then he started talking to him and he told him his name, and then you just seen a light bulb. Like it was just weird. I don't know. Like there was different little parts in the movie that where you just knew that this is not good.
Yeah.
And you knew that help was coming, but it was just not coming quick enough.
Too far away.
Well, yeah, and then what was one old guy going to do too?
Yeah.
That's what I questioned a little bit later. Like, what is this guy going to do?
Yeah. And speaking of the bartender, Joe Turkel, there's a Blade Runner connection there. At the end of the theatrical release of Blade Runner, there are outtakes from The Shining.
Really?
Oh, I didn't know that.
They test screened Blade Runner for audiences, and it just fell flat. And so, we got to have a Hollywood ending. And so they have Rachel and Deckard driving off in the sunset in a world you hadn't seen before. Yeah. And lush and green, and it's outtakes of them going to the Overlook Hotel.
Oh, okay.
I did not know
That's
that.
cool. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it is crazy. I don't was there any other differences you guys can remember from the book and the movie?
Well, there was quite a few, but I don't remember any of them.
I just remember page after page after page talking about how he was an alcoholic and breaking Danny's arm, and never thinking I'd get through all of that. So you're talking about a 700-page book.
Oh, it's just crazy.
Yeah. But
it was as slow as the movie, I'm guessing, wasn't it, in most places?
It's some, yeah, but the payoff was totally worth it by the end.
Well, so was there any kind of indication in the book about the hotel itself being an entity, like its own character, or was that something that Kubrick did for the movie?
I didn't really get it. I didn't get
because there was a lot of weird shit that Kubrick put in, like the dog costume guy, and then the woman and the twins and everything that was creepy. But it felt like, was it all Jack's mind? And was it Danny's mind too because he was a clairvoyant? Or like was it just something weird in that hotel as well? Like it just all together. It makes you really wonder.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because I think a lot of it was in Jack. Like obviously the conversations, a lot of it was in Jack. But then you see him, and then somebody explain to me if it's possible, what the fuck is up with the picture at the end? Is there a reason for
he was there?
He was there in 1921, and it shows his picture. Like he was a part of the hotel.
Like he was always there.
But was he always there? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Was that just a little twist that like he's a part of the hotel now, and now he's a memory, he's just a distant memory.
I don't know.
I guess that's left for the viewer.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's all it is. It's just left
ambiguity.
Yeah. It's just something for us to ponder and question our whole lives.
Really think about.
Yeah, and I don't really want to, if unless somebody's got actual answer. But
I don't know.
I've thought about it a little bit, but I don't know. Like there's nothing that leads me to know.
I've seen other people talk about it, and they don't know either. Yeah. Because everybody has their own opinion on it, and and no one really has a definitive yes or no.
Yes or no. It's just speculation then.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I want to move on from The Shining. you guys watch Carrie, I guess,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I've
Read the book.
I have not.
You've never watched the movie?
I've never seen
You should
it.
be ashamed of yourself. Okay. But you have read the book.
I have read.
Really? Okay. How did the book end? Do you remember?
I
I mean, it's probably been a long time.
yeah, it's been a while. I want to say the mom, the whole thing was different, but it's been too long.
Yeah. That's something. That movie itself. You definitely need to watch that. The overs like a religious zealot mom, the crazy mom.
I thought she made it. I thought she made the movie.
Well,
Obviously, other people.
well,
did
you
too,
have
'cause
a
I'm pretty sure
sense.
she won like an Academy Award or something.
Well, I think the two biggest characters, obviously, is Sissy Spacek.
Yeah.
She's Carrie, and
Yeah.
she did such an amazing job as that young, timid,
Yeah.
poor, picked on little girl.
Yeah.
And
The whoop dog.
the whoop dog, and her mom is the other main one. Like that, I think that I don't know. I don't talk to other people who watch the movie really, but that she's a big thing. She's a big thing to do with that movie and how great that movie is.
Yeah.
Because that shows you who Carrie is and why. I think her mom really, really has a lot to do with how she was and how timid she was. Her mom's just so crazy.
Oh yeah.
So, it showed a lot. It showed a lot with her mom, and she was one of the scariest people in the entire movie.
Oh yeah.
Like for sure,
yeah.
if not the scariest.
Yeah.
Other than just the mean girls,
Well,
which
and
happens.
And the way she talked,
Yeah.
and
But the biggest thing about Carrie, honestly, was just running prom night for almost everybody for a little while. You know how scary that was to be trapped in a building. But
Well,
they shouldn't have fucked with her.
my biggest thing with Carrie, the biggest takeaway I got was I got a new way to say boobies was
Dirty pillows.
Dirty pillows.
I tell
I see your dirty pillows.
I tell Rachel that all the time, and she just like, I don't even know. Her reaction's sometimes hilarious. I see your dirty pillows. Breasts, Mama. They're called breasts. They're called breasts, and they're nice. I see your dirty pillows. That's like my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Like
that's
her,
my,
just
that's my favorite line.
like, how do you even say it, like just
How do you
straight as
say that? How
I see your dirty, like disgusted.
She's a straight up
Who's great.
World class actor to be able
Gotta
to pull
be.
that off.
Gotta be.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's
Both of them. I couldn't imagine not cracking up.
Carrie's just a classic. Really, it really is.
Yeah, it is.
A lot, and
It
I think
spawned a lot of
great actresses.
A lot of great actresses.
PJ Souls, who went on to be in Halloween,
Yep.
and it's awesome. And Sissy Spacek was probably the most, if one of the, probably the most successful actress.
to
Even
come
though she
out.
hasn't been in a shit ton of stuff,
No,
she
but what
she's
she
great.
has, she's always noted for.
Oh yeah,
Everybody knows who she is.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you not?
Even if they don't know her name.
So
It's a Carrie.
another one, Christine.
Yeah.
Classic.
Love Christine.
Speaking of Halloween,
Yeah. I love the car.
Charlie
No.
Carpenter did this one.
The only thing I don't like about Christine is that they don't explain why the car kills people.
Oh.
They don't explain, there's
I
no
don't- yeah.
possession because she was a brand new car.
Yeah.
So because they show her killing people right off the assembly line.
Right.
So how did that happen? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I haven't read that one, so I have no insight. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it shows anything
I
to do with it.
don't know.
I actually love Bad to the Bone whenever they're.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the best thing about that movie was the score. Definitely.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I mean, but that's
I
the
would
thing
say so,
about
too.
Carpenter too.
I think Christine probably has the best. I don't know. That's kind of a loaded phrase.
That's pretty bold.
That's
That's
pretty
bold.
bold statement. But
John Carpenter's got some really good music,
I
and
really do think
a lot of his
Christine
hit.
probably has the best score of a Stephen King movie.
Yeah. And John came off, like John Carpenter came off. What did he come off of right after that? Was it The Fog? It wasn't The Fog because that was
It would have been The Thing.
The Thing.
Oh.
That's what it was. The Thing. That was.
He did The Thing and
then Christine.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
The
I remember.
Thing is a cult classic now.
Yeah.
But then it was panned.
Yeah.
It was terrible. So he picked up Christine.
Oh, we gotta do a podcast for The Thing.
We can do that.
We have to.
Yeah.
We can do. We can just mix it with the Carpenter. Well, we'll mix it with Carpenter because we can do our Halloween stuff separate.
Yeah,
Because I want to do Halloween.
That's cool.
But I think that'd be awesome. But that's the thing. The Thing was such a cult is a cult classic now, but back then it was universally panned, I think. And I don't know how critics hated it, and I think it even financially did terrible, didn't it?
I'll kill you, diabetes.
So I think he latched on to Christine just to try to get back in it, like, because he had such a flop, and then
I seen an interview with him from back then, and he said that he pretty much just did Christine just for money.
Yeah,
like it was just
it was just a job.
Just
yeah,
a job
well, that's
crazy because
you
Christine I would put up there in one of the best Stephen King movies.
That's kind of Carpenter though, isn't it? Like, I love Carpenter, but isn't that Carpenter? Like every time he has
I would agree.
Every time he has an interview, he's like, I don't give a fuck. And he's just sitting there smoking a cigarette, like, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
I don't care. I just did it. I didn't think I was going to make any money. I didn't, with Halloween's like one of the most financially is one of the most successful films ever, considering the budget and what it made. Yep. $300,000 budget, and then 10 million. Is either 10? It's 100 million.
Something like that.
It might have been 100 million worldwide. I have to look that up. It's 10 million or 100 million something. It's crazy though.
They keep
it was outrageous.
Re-releasing it in theaters
for the late 70s. That's insane.
Yeah.
So, but every time I don't know. I don't really care.
Just so he has enough money to smoke pot and play video games.
That's exactly what. Yeah, up until he's like, what, he's 80 now.
I don't know.
He's pushing it. He's pushing it. I hope he stays alive for Halloween because he's supposed to be coming back for that.
Sweet.
He wants to do the score. That's what he said, and then now he's like on as executive producer or something crazy, which would be great.
I mean, that could just be a title.
Sure, whatever. As long as he's involved, that's awesome.
Yeah, as long as he's there.
Because he didn't even get involved for. Did he get involved for H2O? I don't think he even did.
I don't know.
No, he didn't because they wanted to and they didn't. Yeah. Anyway, Christine was very good. I thought and the score was the biggest part about that.
Yeah.
And I don't really have much to say about anything else. I guess The Green Mile. I mean, The Green Mile wasn't a scary movie, but Green Mile.
I got a unpopular opinion about Green Mile.
Overrated.
And, I think it's overrated, but
good movie.
But I think it's a really good movie. I will agree with everybody on that, but it's fairly boring.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my thing, and I thought Shawshank was pretty boring too.
And see, I used to think that way, and then I went back and watched it much later, and I love Shawshank.
And
the ending's so satisfying.
Well, something that nobody else talks about except for me that I know of is the plot hole of Shawshank, and that's nobody noticed that he had brand new shoes on.
Well,
I guarantee I would have. I know I would have.
You look at people's shoes?
Oh, yes. Yes, I do.
I don't know if I don't know. I do look at shoes, but I don't know if it's like the first thing.
Is that like a foot fetish that you have?
Yeah, well, it probably is. Knowing him.
No, really. If you're in a prison and everyone in there has dirty clothes, dirty shoes, dirty everything,
mm-hmm.
and someone is walking across the yard in a brand new, and these aren't just brand new shoes. These are like Italian grade custom leather shoes that are shiny as hell. And nobody notices that.
Well,
get out of here.
That's my complaint about Shawshank, and it's a nitpick. But you're talking about a 1930s or 40s prison, and everything is pristine.
Yeah. That's
almost Depression era.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, everything like they should be eating rats,
right?
But anyway, that's my biggest thing against Shawshank. I didn't enjoy it because it just wasn't exciting to me.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I would say against it.
Yeah,
it was a good movie. So was The Green Mile. The Green Mile is a really good movie. It's just it didn't excite me. It didn't get me pumped.
Well, I don't need to watch it multiple times like I can other ones. No. I can watch a bunch of them. I can watch The Shining several times over. I can watch Carrie. I have watched Carrie a bunch. I don't think I can watch Green. I can watch Shawshank over and over again because I like it now.
Yeah.
But I
can't watch it before I watch.
I still can't do that with Green Mile as much as it was. It's as good as it was. Yeah. I can't.
I love Tom Hanks, but
another one I can't watch over and over again is Pet Sematary.
Yeah. Well, I was just about to agree with you, and then I was like thinking, I was like, yeah, I've watched it like 10, 12 times, so I can't really say that. But I watched it like 4 or 5 times when I was little.
Was that a short story or was that a novel?
Oh, that was a novel.
Was it a novel?
Yeah.
Was it a novel? Did you guys read that?
I did not read all of it.
Did you read it?
it's been a while, but I have read it. One of the main differences is the kid in the book is far more nasty when he comes back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's saying things.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah, as he's killing people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, even worse
Okay.
than because I remember in the movies, what did he say? You're fat to.
Oh yeah,
To the
I mean,
guy and
yeah, it's
worse than that.
yeah. I can't remember exact quotes, but it's just like, wow, this is
Yeah,
crazy.
Pretty, yeah.
I
Okay.
need to. I own it. I just had never did read it all. I got it when I was little. My grandma gave it to my
I sense a trend between both
Yeah.
of us here. We're just watching shit
yeah,
way too early.
too young,
Way
yeah.
too young.
Well, my grandma loves stuff like
Love Stephen King. doesn't he?
yeah, she does. She likes The Shining and
Mhm.
stuff like that. She doesn't like slashers.
Oh, see, that's more. I love slasher movies. I love slasher movies.
And I will agree with my grandma on this. She loves Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one. She hates all the rest of them. I agree with her. Absolutely love.
That's
the
a
first
story
one.
for another day.
It is.
But,
it is a story. For
but
another
but I disagree.
yeah.
Yeah, I have a rebuttal for that.
Yeah.
I know. There's a lot of people that would disagree with me,
Yeah.
and that's just.
I can't.
that's
I
fine.
can't wait to get in these podcasts because I
know.
really want.
I know.
Especially since Halloween's coming up, we got to get into some of these slasher films and stuff.
Yeah.
We got to do that.
But yeah, she loved.
Yeah.
She loves. She loves Pet Cemetery and
Yeah.
Shining, and especially The Shining and stuff like that.
Well,
but anyway.
there's just too many really to remember, too many to go over, and I know we missed some, and I'm sure there'll be a lot that.
Quick before we go, you wanna talk about your least favorite?
Yeah, I want to do first. I want to do our least favorite, or most hated, however you want to say, and then I also want to do just what you think. Let's do least favorite, and then what? Well, I guess it kind of ties hand in hand. I was gonna say what was the worst one you think he did, but it kind of goes hand in hand, I
Yeah,
guess. So,
yeah.
so I guess So let's just do that.
Okay, so the worst.
The worst
to go
movie.
first.
I'll go first.
And if you happen to hate it, then that's great too.
Okay.
Yeah.
The movie Cujo. I read the book. The book was okay. The movie, pretty sure it follows the book except for the ending. They gave it this big, grandiose Hollywood ending, and it just ruined the entire thing for me.
Ruined it.
I'll go into it if you want me to.
Go ahead.
It's the movie was 82, 83, so I'm gonna spoil it for you. It's been 27 years.
I wouldn't worry about that.
Anyway, in the book, her kid is dying, and she sees a baseball bat, and she goes and she beats the dog to death, and you see a mother's love for her son, and it's more powerful than fear. And in the movie, she beats the dog to the house and runs in, finds a shotgun, shoots him as he's coming through the window, and I was just like, oh, you're kidding me. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she didn't have to exert any emotion whatsoever to pull the trigger over the shotgun.
Right. And that's just kind of a cop-out to me, but that's Hollywood.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You want me to go?
Go ahead.
Okay. It's probably going to be a little wordy.
Is it wordy?
I got two. And I can't just say one. I can't.
I don't know. If I think of a second one, but I'll go ahead.
Okay.
Lawnmower Man.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Lawnmower Man. and it's not because I watched it. I watched it a couple times.
Yeah.
And of course, Pierce Brosnan. I like Pierce Brosnan a lot, but I wanted to. I just can't do it. Like it was the most campiest 90s movie you could, like, because the introduction of computers and this virtual reality crap that was going on at the time, like the really bad VR, and I don't know, it was probably the worst. Like you can call Maximum Overdrive bad, you can call a lot of his movies bad, or movies based off of his novels bad. Like Thinner was both kind of good and really bad at the same time.
Yeah.
But that was definitely the worst. Probably the cheesiest in my opinion.
Oh, it was probably the cheesiest.
And this is and I'm saying that in knowing about the Mangler.
Yeah.
And to me, you're talking about like the effects and stuff. That's why I think you should use practical effects, over CG, because technology 10 years from now is going to look bad. I mean, look at Avatar now, and
Yeah, well, that's a lot of it. The effects is a lot of it, but there was some serious bad acting, especially from not so much from Pierce, even though he tried, But God, the Lawnmower Man, and they made a second one.
Oh, they made more than.
Did
that.
Did they make
oh
more
my
than that?
God,
I
I think they made like 4 or 5.
And the story's 10 pages. The source material is like
Don't
About a
even
guy that eats grass.
don't even say that to me. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want that in my mind.
Well, I've got 2.
Okay,
And I know I'm kind of doing a little cop out picking 2. I'm sorry, but
you're cheating.
They're both so bad that they have to be mentioned together, and that's Graveyard Shift, which is older, so it does. You kind of got to give it a little bit of like, okay, it's old, so
Sure.
it's gonna be worse than newer stuff. But it's so bad that you could put it up against black and white movies, and the black and whites would make more sense. The movies like the soundless movies,
The silent films.
the silent films would make more sense than this.
What?
It's.
I guess I haven't
full-blown
watched it,
okay,
I guess.
just a little quick one because I know nobody's probably ever gonna watch this, and you shouldn't. You should find all copies and burn them.
And burn them.
Okay, so Graveyard Shift. This guy, he takes a job working in a factory. I don't remember what they make, but the boss is like really shifty and always trying to screw his workers over and everything, and it's like the plant is like infested with rats.
I remember reading this actually.
And they're like possessed rats or something, and like they're eating all the workers, like and these people keep shoving their hands into dark spaces, like when you see someone's hand get ate off by rats, you would quit shoving your fucking hands into these holes, right? Really? I mean,
yeah, sure.
That's what I'm thinking. If I see,
it makes the most sense.
if I see a machine cut a guy's finger off at work, I'm going to be like, oh, well, I'm not going to shove my finger in there. Nope. These guys all just, oh, well, yeah, this hole might be all right. No, they get their arm ate off.
Yeah.
Well, then you get to the end of it, and there is a chupacabra type rat in like further down into the basement of this building. It's so fucking bad. It's so bad. It's almost as bad as the other worst one, but not really because my next worst one is Sleepwalkers.
Oh.
And Sleepwalkers, if you haven't seen it, please don't. Please throw it away. It's
Remind me to do that when I get back to work. I'll just throw that copy away.
Okay, so Sleepwalkers, it's equally as bad as Graveyard Shift, except it includes incest sex between a mother and son.
What?
They're cat people. They like change into cats.
What?
Like full size, like human size.
Like werewolves, but like with cats.
Exactly. Yes, but
that's insane.
They're incest together. And the boy, they eat people, and the boy,
naturally,
the boy has to seduce teenage girls to come over so that his mom can eat them.
Surprised this hasn't been a musical.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God,
it needs to be on Broadway.
That might be better than the movie.
It is garbage. Absolute 100% trash. Don't ever watch it. Don't even be in the same room as it.
Yeah.
If you find a copy of it, call 911.
Because you have been violated.
You've been violated.
Triggered.
Someone
is triggered.
Somewhere is trying to screw your life up by making you watch
it's the curse of the Sleepwalker.
What's your problem, sir? I just watch Sleepwalkers.
Yes,
I just watch Sleepwalkers.
Call 911.
Say no more, fam.
Say no more.
Yeah.
Help's on the way.
Help is on the way. Oh God. See, and that's just, the moral of the story is Stephen King has really shitty stories.
Yeah.
And really good stories.
And really good
stories.
stories.
And he still has so many good ones. It's enough to make him a legend.
Yeah.
Like really.
Yep.
Even the people who
Stephen King has enough good movies to be considered.
And books.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. He
has enough source material that is good to be considered one of the best writers in the history of mankind.
Yeah. And some of them really stand the test of time. Yeah. They really do.
He also has enough that is really, really, really dumb to be considered.
And he's lucky he had the really good ones beforehand before he really done screwed up.
Yeah. I mean, really. And he's still pumping out good ones, too.
Yeah.
But he's also pumping out shitty ones, too. It's just, you got to take the good with the bad and the bad with the good on this one.
Any closing arguments? Final statements?
I think I pretty much said everything.
Said everything. I mean, like I said, I know we've missed some, but you're going to naturally. We missed a lot. How about you, Andrew?
I think I've said everything.
No comment. No comment. All we can do.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess we can wrap it up then. This Andrew, I really appreciate you being on. Man, this is awesome. Fun. Yeah, we're gonna do a lot more of these, and we'll probably have you on quite a bit if you can. That'd be great. We want to do a lot more. Especially with horror movies. I want to do more slashers and stuff like that. That'd be awesome.
That's pretty much what we all do anyway. So
just watch movies, and action movies, Schwarzenegger podcast movie.
Usually, if we're not watching movies, we're usually talking about them. So
that's usually half of it,
whether we're recording or not.
Exactly, that's half of it for sure, man. Well, I guess that'll do it for us. We said last week that we were going to release our FD podcast every Monday, and then try to do our movie podcasts Wednesday or Fridays. And said something about Fridays, but I think we're going to flip it. What I think we're going to do is I think we're going to do like a movie Monday thing, and we're going to launch. We're going to launch it where our movie podcasts are on Monday.
Yep.
We're going to release all of our movie podcasts Monday, and then our FD podcast will be probably
later in the week.
Later in the week, I'd say we'll get a final date for everybody, but I'd say it'll be Wednesday-ish, probably, just so we can get it out because there's just so much that happens.
Oh yeah.
So and we'll try to get some more out, but yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Andrew, thanks again, and I guess we're out of here.
Yeah. See ya.
See ya.